93% of wealthy individuals have something you don't, and it's not money. Einstein called it the most powerful force in the universe. Jung uncovered it in the subconscious of millionaires. And Tolle revealed why you sabotage your own wealth every day without even realizing it. Breathe. Now feel this. You work hard, you strive, you plan. But money seems to slip through your fingers like water, like sand, as if there's an invisible force pushing abundance away from you. What if I told you that force is you? What if I showed you that every thought you have about money is creating a magnetic field that repels the very thing you desire most? Eckhart Tolle, author of The Power of Now, uncovered something the prosperity industry doesn't want you to know. Carl Jung mapped this in the human unconscious decades earlier, studying why some people attract wealth while others, equally capable, live in perpetual scarcity. And today, for the first time, you'll understand why your mind is biologically programmed to reject abundance. More importantly, you'll learn how to reverse it. But that's nothing compared to what comes next. Have you ever wondered why some people attract money effortlessly while you struggle every day? Why they seem to live in a completely different universe where opportunities just appear, businesses flow, and raises arrive without asking? The answer isn't in what they do, it's in what they don't do. And what they don't do is so subtle that 99% of people die without discovering it. Jung called it the financial shadow self. It's the part of you that secretly hates money, that believes deep down that wealth corrupts, that's afraid of success, that associates money with guilt, shame, fear. And here's the shock that will change everything. The more you try to be positive about money, the stronger your shadow becomes. The more affirmations you repeat, the more resistance you create. Tolle was even more direct. He said, "You cannot attract what you internally reject." And most people spend their entire lives rejecting money without even realizing it. Every time you think money is hard, rich people are greedy, I don't deserve it, money doesn't bring happiness. You're literally programming your nervous system to repel abundance. You're creating an energetic shield that blocks prosperity. If you feel like you work hard but earn little, keep watching. At 29, Eckhart Tolle was broke, depressed, on the brink of suicide. He lived in a small apartment in London with no money for next month's rent. One dark night in 1977, lying in his bed, he had a thought that would change not only his life, but the lives of millions. I can't stand living with myself anymore. And then, like lightning, the realization, who was this self that couldn't stand living with itself? Were they two people, two selves? In that moment of absolute clarity, something broke. The identification with his mind, with his thoughts, with his stories of failure, it all crumbled. He recounts spending the next few weeks in a state of silent ecstasy. He sat on park benches for hours. He watched pigeons. He felt life pulsating in everything. And then something extraordinary began to happen. Without seeking, without planning, without strategy, people started approaching him. They wanted to know what he had. They wanted to learn. First, it was a few spiritual seekers, then groups, then publishers began to seek him out. In a few years, without ever chasing money, Tolle became one of the highest paid authors in the world. Oprah called him the most important author of the century. Millions and millions flowed, not because he pursued money, but because he stopped resisting life. Jung would have explained this perfectly. When Tolle stopped fighting himself, he integrated his shadow. And when you integrate the shadow, what was blocked begins to flow naturally, including money, especially money. But what he discovered about the nature of the mind will change how you see money forever. Listen carefully, because this is crucial for your financial freedom. Your mind has been programmed since childhood with toxic beliefs about money. Perhaps you heard, money doesn't grow on trees. We have to work hard for money. We're not that kind of people. Money is dirty. These phrases seem harmless. They even seem wise. But they created an invisible prison that's keeping you poor. Jung studied millionaires and discovered a disturbing pattern. They didn't have better beliefs about money. They had less identification with any belief. See the difference? It's not about positive thinking. It's about realizing that you are not your thoughts about money. You are the consciousness that observes those thoughts. Tolle explains with surgical precision, the problem isn't negative thinking. It's believing that you are the thinker. When you believe you are your thoughts about scarcity, you literally become scarcity. Your energy field vibrates scarcity. You attract scarcity. When you observe those thoughts without identifying, something magical happens. The field changes. The vibration changes. Reality changes. In 3 minutes, I'll reveal the exact technique that transforms this. Neuroscience now proves what Jung intuited 100 years ago. Your brain has an area called the reticular activating system, RAS. It's like a filter that decides what you perceive in reality. If your deep programming says money is hard, your brain literally filters out financial opportunities. You don't see what's right in front of you. It's as if you live in a world where money doesn't exist. A shocking example, researchers showed the same street to 2 groups. One group believed in scarcity, the other in abundance. The scarcity group didn't notice 3 obvious business opportunities on the street. The abundance group saw them all. Same street, different realities. Your brain creates your financial reality. But here's the plot twist no one talks about. Trying to reprogram your mind with positive affirmations often makes things worse. Why? Because it creates more internal resistance. It's like trying to paint a dirty wall. The dirt remains underneath, rotting. Jung called this ego inflation. The more you try to convince your conscious mind that you deserve wealth, the stronger the unconscious part that believes you don't deserve it becomes. It's a war you can't win. Tolle offers a radical and counterintuitive solution. Stop trying to change your thoughts. Just observe them. When the thought, "I don't deserve money," comes, don't fight it. Don't affirm the opposite. Don't try to be positive. Just notice, a thought about not deserving is passing through my consciousness now. Seems too simple. It's because you haven't yet understood its transformative power. I'm going to share something that might shock you deeply. The wealthiest people in the world don't think much about money. Seriously, studies from Harvard show they think about value, problem solving, contribution, creation. Money is a natural consequence, not an obsessive focus. And this isn't just positive thinking, it's a complete absence of resistance. Warren Buffett said, "I don't think about money. I think about buying wonderful companies." Steve Jobs never had money as his primary motivation. Elon Musk sleeps at the factory not for the money, but for the mission. See the pattern? Zero resistance, zero obsession, just flow. Jung discovered something even deeper. The unconscious mind doesn't distinguish between violently rejecting and obsessively desiring. Both create the same energetic resistance. Both push away. That's why people desperate for money rarely get rich. And people who have a neutral relationship often prosper effortlessly. But how do you stop resisting something you need to survive? The answer goes against everything you've been taught. The answer lies in a disturbing Jungian discovery about the collective unconscious. He realized we inherit ancestral fears about money from generations. Your great-grandfather who lost everything in the war. Your grandmother who experienced starvation as a child. Your father who was betrayed in business. These traumas aren't just memories. They are active programming in your DNA, creating a cellular rejection of abundance. Tolle adds a devastating observation. The collective body pain of humanity includes millennia of scarcity, war, famine. You're not just fighting against your personal programming, you're fighting against the programming of hundreds of generations. That's why affirmations don't work. That's why prosperity courses fail. You're trying to win a 1,000-year-old war with paper tools. The only way out is surrender, but not the surrender you imagine. Stop everything for a second. Take a deep breath. Now feel your body with full attention. Feel where the tension resides when you think about money. Perhaps in your chest, a contraction. Maybe in your stomach, a tightening. Perhaps in your throat, a knot. This physical tension is resistance made manifest. It's your body literally saying no to abundance. Now do something revolutionary. Don't try to relax this tension. Just observe it with gentle curiosity. Mentally say, interesting, tension about money is here now. And breathe, not to change, not to fix, just to be present with what is. Tolle teaches that radical acceptance of what is, paradoxically, is the portal to all transformation. But accepting doesn't mean liking or agreeing. It means stopping warring with reality. And when the inner war ceases completely, the external reorganizes in ways that seem miraculous. What I'm about to reveal about Jung and money has never been fully explored. Jung had a millionaire patient who lost everything. Instead of trying to help him recover his fortune, Jung guided him to completely accept the loss, to befriend poverty, to find peace in nothingness. 6 months later, without doing anything specific, the man had recovered double his previous fortune. Jung explained, when you make peace with absence, presence can return. When you don't need money to be happy, money can flow. When you don't resist poverty, wealth finds space to enter. It's the supreme paradox of abundance. But this isn't abstract philosophy. I'm going to show you exactly how to apply it. There's a specific technique Jung used with his wealthy patients, a technique Tolle discovered independently, and that modern neuroscience has completely validated. Get ready, because this could change your relationship with money today. If you feel something is blocking your prosperity, pay close attention now. The technique has 3 levels, and each level dissolves a different layer of resistance. The first level works with the body, the second with the mind, the third with what Jung called the self, the immutable center of your being. Let's start with the body, because that's where resistance first materializes. Level 1. Somatic release of scarcity. Your body carries every experience of lack you've ever had. Every time your parents said, "We don't have money for that." Every time you had to choose between paying one bill or another. Every financial humiliation. It's all stored in your tissues as contraction. Close your eyes now. Think of a recent situation where money was a problem. Feel where your body contracts. Now, instead of trying to relax, do the opposite. Contract even more. Exaggerate the tension. Hold it for 5 seconds, and then release completely. Feel the wave of relief. Repeat 3 times. Jung discovered that when you consciously exaggerate an unconscious pattern, it loses power over you. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. The monster that seemed terrifying was just a shadow. But the second level is where the real magic happens. Level 2. Unidentified observation. Tolle calls this the space between you and your thoughts. It's the most liberating discovery you can make about money. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and now simply observe any thoughts about money that arise. Don't judge, don't analyze, just notice. A thought about not having enough. Interesting, a memory about that debt. Look, fear of the future appearing. Keep observing, and then realize, who is observing these thoughts? Can you feel the silent space from which the observation comes? That space never had a problem with money, never felt fear, never felt lack. It's pure consciousness. It's what you truly are. When you establish yourself in this space, something extraordinary happens. The thoughts of scarcity continue to come, but they no longer stick to you. They pass like clouds in the sky, and the sky, you, remains untouched. Jung had a name for this. He called it the transcendent function. It's when you stop identifying with opposites, wealth and poverty, having and not having, and find the center that lies beyond both. And from that center, paradoxically, abundance flows naturally. But the third level is where Jung and Tolle meet in a revelation that may seem mystical, but is profoundly practical. Level 3, alignment with the universal flow. Jung discovered that the collective unconscious contains not only traumas, but also what he called the archetype of infinite abundance. It's the deep recognition that you are part of an infinitely creative and generous universe. Tolle expresses this even more directly. You are life expressing itself, and life is abundance. But how do you access this? How to shift from a personal consciousness of scarcity to a universal consciousness of abundance? The answer is so simple the mind complicates it. Gratitude, but not the forced gratitude of lists. The gratitude born of perception. Look at your hand right now. Really look. Billions of cells working in perfect harmony, without you doing anything, without you paying anything. Freely. That's abundance in action. Breathe. The air enters effortlessly, exits without struggle. Infinite supply, zero scarcity. That's the universe demonstrating how it works. Jung said, when you align yourself with the creative processes of the unconscious, you become a channel for manifestation. Tolle simplifies it. When you are present, you are aligned with universal intelligence, and that intelligence knows how to provide. But here's the part no one tells you about manifestation. Most people try to manifest from the ego. I want, I need, I deserve. This creates more separation, more resistance. Jung discovered that true manifestation happens when the ego surrenders to the greater self. When the I want transforms into what wants to flow through me. Tolle had this experience after his awakening. He didn't decide to write a book. The book wanted to be written through him. He didn't choose success. Success chose him because he was available, without resistance, like a stream of water, finding the path of least resistance. And this is where the ultimate secret about money and consciousness lies. Money is neutral energy. It's neither good nor bad. It's like electricity. It can illuminate or electrocute. It depends on how you relate to it. Jung observed that people who demonize money create as much resistance as those who idolize it. Both are trapped in duality. Freedom comes when you see money as Tolle sees it, a temporary tool in a temporary game, useful while we are in form, irrelevant in essence, when you are neither against nor in favor, when you are simply available. Like a tree is available to the sun, without desperation, without rejection, just natural openness. But how to maintain this consciousness day to day? How not to revert to old patterns when the bills arrive? The answer lies in a practice Jung developed and Tolle refined. It's what I call present abundance meditation. It's not visualizing money. It's not affirming wealth. It's something far more subtle and powerful. It's recognizing the abundance that's already here, now, in this moment, regardless of your bank balance. Are you breathing? Abundance of air. Can you see? Abundance of light. Can you feel? Abundance of sensation. Do you exist? Abundance of being. When you anchor in this fundamental abundance, something shifts in your frequency. You stop vibrating lack, you begin vibrating fullness, and the universe, which Jung discovered to be a mirror of the unconscious, begins to reflect that fullness back. If you're feeling this resonates deeply, it's because something inside you already knows. There's a phenomenon Jung documented in numerous patients. He called it financial synchronicity. When someone made deep peace with their financial shadow self, coincidental events began to happen. A client would appear out of nowhere. An opportunity would unexpectedly arise. A gift would arrive unannounced. Jung didn't see this as magic. He saw it as the natural order re-establishing itself. When you remove the internal blockages, the external flow normalizes. It's quantum physics applied to consciousness. The observer affects the observed. Your consciousness affects your financial reality. Tolle experienced this dramatically. After his awakening, he recounts often having no money for the next meal. But instead of panicking, he remained present. And invariably, someone would invite him to dinner, or he'd find forgotten money, or a temporary job would appear. Not because he attracted it, because he didn't repel it. That's the crucial difference you need to understand now. The law of attraction as it's taught is incomplete. It's not about attracting what you want. It's about stopping repelling what's already trying to reach you. The universe is constantly trying to flow abundance through you. But your mental, emotional, and somatic blockages act like a dam. Jung mapped these blockages in layers. The first layer is personal, your life experiences. The second is familial, inherited patterns. The third is cultural, societal beliefs. The fourth is archetypal, humanity's primal fears. Each layer needs to be acknowledged and integrated, but Tolle offers a revolutionary shortcut. Instead of excavating every trauma, every memory, every pattern, you can simply disidentify from them all at once. How? And through the power of now. In the present moment, none of these patterns exist. They need time, past or future, to survive. Try it now, without closing your eyes. Just feel this moment exactly as it is. Don't add anything, don't subtract anything, just this moment. At this very instant, do you have any financial problems? Not tomorrow, not next month. Now, this second. The answer will always be no. Problems need time to exist, but your mind will scream, but the bills, the rent, the future, do soon. And that's where you apply the deepest teaching. Tolle distinguishes between life situation and life. Your life situation may include financial challenges. Okay, that's a fact. But your life, this vibrant, pulsing moment, is always complete. When you root yourself in life instead of the situation, you access resources the ego didn't even know existed. Jung called this accessing the self. It's when you stop trying to solve problems from the ego level and allow the greater intelligence to work through you. The greatest financial geniuses in history report this phenomenon. The solution came to them. It wasn't created. It was received. Tesla received his inventions in visions. Einstein had the theory of relativity in a dream. Steve Jobs spoke of connecting the dots retroactively. All described the same phenomenon. When the ego gets out of the way, universal intelligence comes into play. But how do you get out of the way? How do you stop interfering with the natural flow of abundance? The secret lies in a technique I'm going to share now. The creative space technique. Jung developed it by observing artists. Tolle rediscovered it in his own process. It's simple but profound. When you have a financial challenge, instead of attacking it with your mind, you create space around it. Step 1. Clearly define the challenge. I need X amount by this date. Step 2. Feel all the emotions around it. Fear, anxiety, shame. Don't run away. Feel it completely. Step 3. Now imagine this challenge as an object in space. Visualize space around it. Above, below, to the sides, infinite space. Step 4. Rest in that space, so don't try to solve. Just be the space that holds the problem. What happens is surprising. From that space, solutions emerge that the constricted mind would never see. Connections appear. Synchronicity happens. Not because you attracted it, because you created space for life to flow. But there's a fatal error most people make in this process. The error is to approach the technique with an agenda. I'm going to create space for money to appear. This is the ego trying to manipulate the process. It's resistance disguised as surrender. Jung was clear. The unconscious cannot be fooled. If you create space to get something, it's not true space. True space wants nothing, expects nothing, manipulates nothing. It's pure openness. It's what Tolle calls deep surrender. And paradoxically, it's from this non-action that the right action emerges. It's from not wanting that having happens. This leads us to a radical understanding of work and money. Most people work out of fear. Fear of not having, fear of losing, fear of not being enough. This work, no matter how much it pays, keeps you in the consciousness of scarcity. It's a hamster on a wheel, always running, never arriving. Jung observed that truly prosperous people work from a different place. They work as expression, as art, as contribution. The money comes, but it's not the motivator. It's the byproduct. Tolle confirms, when you do what you love with total presence, the universe conspires in your favor. But how do you discover this work? How do you find your true expression? The answer isn't where you think. It's not in vocational tests. It's not in market analyses. It's in silence. Jung spent hours in silence every day. Tolle spent 2 years in silence after his awakening. In silence, the mental noise about what you should do dissipates, and what you came to do reveals itself. It's subtle. It might be a gentle impulse, a recurring curiosity, a skill that flows effortlessly. It's usually something you already do naturally but discount because it's too easy. The ego wants to complicate. The soul wants to express. There's a powerful exercise to discover this. Ask yourself, if I had all the money in the world, what would I do for free? The answer points to your true expression. And ironically, it's by doing this that money flows more easily. But here lies a subtle trap few realize. The trap is to turn even this into a strategy. I'm going to do what I love to get rich. Again, the ego contaminates the process. Jung warned about what he called inflation, when the ego appropriates spiritual insights for its own ends. Purity lies in doing what you love, because you can't not do it, because it's your nature, like a tree bearing fruit, not to be valued, because it's a tree. When you work from this purity, you align yourself with what Tolle calls universal intelligence, and that intelligence knows how to sustain you. I'll tell you something few know about Jung's relationship with money. Jung came from a wealthy family, but he chose to live simply, not out of asceticism, but out of freedom. He realized that accumulating creates as much attachment as lacking. Both are prisons. Freedom lies in having enough, and knowing that there will always be enough. He developed what he called a conscious relationship with money, not spending compulsively nor hoarding obsessively, but letting money flow like energy, coming and going according to real need, not fear or greed. Tolle lives this today. Even a millionaire, he maintains a simple life, not out of virtue, but out of clarity. He sees that beyond the necessary, more money adds nothing essential. It might even distract from the essential. So he uses the excess to serve, to spread consciousness. This leads us to a profound insight about the purpose of money. Money wants to circulate. It's its nature, like blood in the body. When you hoard it out of fear, it stagnates. When you spend it compulsively, it disperses. But when you let it flow consciously, it creates life wherever it goes. Jung noticed that patients who changed their relationship with money from having to flowing experienced not only more abundance, but more vitality. Stagnant money is stagnant energy. Stagnant energy creates disease, physical, mental, spiritual. The question then is not, how much do I have, but how is it flowing? Is it coming in with gratitude? Is it going out with purpose? Is it creating beauty, truth, kindness in its path? When the answer is yes, you are aligned with the nature of money. But there's one last secret I need to share with you. The biggest block to abundance is not the lack of money. It's the lack of self-worth. Jung discovered that at the bottom of every financial shadow self is the belief, I don't deserve it. No matter how much you work, save, invest, if internally you don't feel worthy, you will sabotage yourself. Tolle points to something even more fundamental. It's not about increasing your sense of deserving. It's about realizing that deserving is an ego concept. At the level of being, you neither deserve nor fail to deserve. You simply are. And as an expression of life, abundance is your natural state. How do you integrate this? How do you get out of "I don't deserve it" without falling into the inflated "I deserve it"? The key is to change the question. Instead of "Do I deserve it?" ask, "What does life want to express through me?" When you become the vehicle, the question of deserving dissolves. And here we arrive at the most important point of our entire journey. You can apply all the techniques, do all the practices, read all the books, but if you don't understand this, nothing will change. Abundance is not something you achieve. It's something you are. You are life itself expressing itself in human form. And life is infinitely abundant. Every cell in your body knows this. Every tree in the forest knows this. Every star in the sky knows this. Only the human mind has forgotten. And all financial suffering comes from this forgetting. All scarcity is spiritual amnesia. Tolle says, "You are not a beggar begging the universe. You are the universe expressing itself as a person temporarily." When this identity shift happens, from the separate ego to the unified consciousness, the whole game changes. You stop looking outside for what has always been inside. But how do you live this practically? How do you pay bills with cosmic consciousness? How do you deal with bills while being one with everything? Integration is the real challenge. The answer is gently, without rush, without forcing. You continue living your practical life, paying bills, working, saving, but now with a fundamental difference. You are no longer the anxious character in the money story. You are the consciousness watching the movie. And from this witness perspective, something magical happens. The drama loses intensity. Solutions appear more easily. Opportunities reveal themselves naturally. Not because you changed the world, because you changed the place from which you look at the world. Jung called it living symbolically. See each financial event not as literal, but as a symbol of internal processes. That debt, it could be energy trapped in the past. That unexpected windfall, energy released. Each transaction an opportunity for consciousness. Tolle simplifies it further. For him, only this moment exists. And in this moment, you always have enough. You may not have enough for tomorrow, but you have enough for now. And now is all there is. Living this truth is the supreme financial security. Let me end with a story that sums it all up. A student asked Jung, "How can I attract more money?" Jung replied, "First, stop pushing it away." The student insisted, "But how?" Jung smiled, "By becoming who you are, not who you think you should be, to have money." Years later, this student became one of Switzerland's most successful entrepreneurs. Not because he followed a formula, because he stopped betraying his essence for money. And when you honor your essence, the universe honors you with abundance. Tolle would say it even more directly: be, then do, then have. The order matters. Being comes first. It's the foundation. Doing flows from being, and having is a natural consequence. Most people reverse it. They try to have to do to then be. That's why they suffer. If something in this video resonated deeply with you, if you felt a recognition beyond words, then something has already shifted. The seed has been planted. Now it's about nurturing it with presence, day after day. No rush, no anxiety, trusting the process. Because in the end, as Jung discovered and Tolle confirms, it's not about having more money. It's about being free. Free from the fear of lack. Free from the greed of excess. Free to express your true nature. And from that freedom, curiously, prosperity flows. The money you're pushing away with your resistance is waiting on the other side of your surrender. Not the surrender of defeat, the surrender of wisdom, which recognizes that fighting life is fighting yourself. And when that fight ceases, the dance begins. You don't need to believe anything I've shared. Just experiment. Observe your thoughts about money without identifying with them. Feel the tension in your body and breathe space around it. Ask what life wants to express through you, and then observe what happens, because truth doesn't need belief. It proves itself in experience. And the experience of thousands who have applied these principles is consistent. When you stop resisting internally, the external reality reorganizes. Always, it's law, as certain as gravity. You are abundance itself, pretending to be scarcity. It's time to stop pretending. It's time to remember who you are. And from the place of that remembrance, live, work, create, share, without fear, with presence, in flow. The universe is waiting to flow through you. The only question is, will you let it?